Hey, I'm an old man yelling at clouds, and with the War Within expansion now over, I want to talk about the best mounts that came out during this expansion. So I'm going to share with you what I think are the best 15 mounts, and as always, this is a subjective video, so if you disagree, you're wrong and I hate you. Starting off the list at number 15, we have the Reigns of the Royal Voidwing, which came from ahead of the curve for Dementius. It's the uncorrupted Voidwing, which you got from Nyalotha AOTC back in BFA, but just with armor this time. But that doesn't make it any less cool of a mount. I love the dark purple color with blue highlights as you get into the underside, and I love how it has a bluish glow, almost holographic on like the face, tail, and feet. The predominantly gold armor works very well with this mount, and I love the void-ish spikes that come out of the armor, which is one of the most unique parts of this mount compared to the uncorrupted Voidwing. The head armor is very regal and gives this ferocious dragon a feeling of belonging to royalty. And the purple orb in the center of the head armor looks cool. It almost has like a third eye vibe to it. Next at number 14 are the Reigns of the Soaring Meteor for 900 Sizzling Cinder Pollen. As far as I know, it's a new mount model and it's a pretty nice one. The orange and black really go well together, they look excellent. I love the way that the abdomen looks kind of like a bee's nest that's filled with molten honey or just a big sack full of honey. It's really cool the way the coloring is done on that. There's some great little details that many won't notice unless they actually look at the mount, but it has jars of honey on the side as well as a larger jar on its back. The face is menacing with these large eyes that look like amber jewels and pincers that look bloodied up or hot to the touch. The wings look good as well. I love the way that they look as if they get hotter the lower you go. I also really like the glowing effect it has, kind of like an orange aurora. I also like that the stinger has this effect and, like many other parts I've talked about, has that heated up look to it. This is one fierce looking mount. After that, at number 13, we have the Keys to the Incognitro, the Indecipherable Fell Cycle, which was the big secret mount this expansion. Part of the reason this mount is on the list is because of what you had to do to get it. There's a lot of things you have to do that take you across different points in Azeroth, and for me, it was just so much fun. I love these miscellaneous adventures we get to go on, and the reward here is pretty cool. This bike is what I'd imagine any retired Death Knight would be riding, or what I'd expect a Death Knight to ride in on a kid's cartoon adaptation of WoW. If you saw my previous mount ranking video going over every other era of WoW up through Dragonflight, you'll know that I love fell stuff, so the middle section here looks great. I don't really know about the anatomy of a motorcycle, but the middle section here just looks like a big fell tank of gas. The noxious exhaust that's coming off the tires and out of the badass looking skull in the front, coupled with the dagger that's hanging off the front, really sell the feeling of this bike being a battle bike, poison on wheels. It is a bit strange though that the actual exhaust has nothing coming out of it though. Following that, at number 12, we have a mount that came from daily quests, and that is the Shadowbound Leash. First off, I love cats, and I love this model. It's so cute. I love its cute little face and its cute little pointy ears. But the selling point is obviously for me that blue void that envelops the entirety of the mount, almost like a protective shield. There's not much more to add other than that. Nightsabers are one of my favorite mount models in the game, and though this isn't a Nightsaber, it's pretty close. Personally, I'd be curious to see an updated Nightsaber model because if it looks similar to this, it wouldn't be that bad. Then the last mount on the outskirts of the top 10, at number 11, the mount that you got for getting a 2K rating in Season 3 of Mythic Plus is the Azure Void Flyer. This is an interesting one because overall, I think these models are really ugly. But the colors of this mount are so good, and that's what actually makes me like the model a little bit more. Sticking to what I do like though, I love how creepy and evil the face looks. This is something straight out of an alien horror movie. The blue eyes that kind of fade and grow in brightness look great. I just imagine a scene in the dark where each eye lights up one at a time. That would look so badass. The scythes for hands are also badass. It reminds me a lot of Chainsaw Man. The blue glow effect or flame effect on the scythes just make them look even more menacing as well. That's very, very cool. But I love the purple or pink color that they have because it stands out amongst the rest of the blue and purple on the mount. And then again, similar to the Shadowbound Leash before, I really like the blue void that envelops this mount. This one is definitely more subtle than the Shadowbound Leash, but I just really like the way that it looks. Before we start the top 10 on this list, make sure that if you like this video so far, you give it a thumbs up because it does help me out. At number 10, we have a Mythic Raid Boss mount. This one coming from Gallywix on Mythic. This is the Keys to the Big G. When this mount was announced, I, as I'm sure many of you, had my jaw drop to the floor. It's very Mimiron's Head inspired and it looks so good and honestly a little bit funny. The model itself is fantastic, it looks superb. I really like the wear and tear on the metal like on the chin or on the eyes for example. I love the ominous, evil red eyes that seem to illuminate into the mouth and give it a sort of into the mouth of hell type of look. I think the mount could work without the cigar, but with it, it's just hilarious and an incredible detail that I think adds to the flair of the mount. You've got these terrific weapons on the sides that look to be maybe partially inspired by ED-209 from RoboCop, one of my favorite movies. I appreciate the detail that was put into the seating on this mount too. They could have phoned it in or made it something very basic like some of the other mounts, but I think they did great with the fancy chair and the controls. Even the detail at foot level is something to appreciate. The mount special is one thing I think could have been better. I do think it's pretty cool having this overload kind of effect with sparks and fire spewing out of the mouth and the eyes turning this evil orange color. But I think having just one measly shot out of the weapons is kind of a letdown. It would have been cool to have it do like a 360 spray and pray or something. Such as number 9 on the list, which is another Mythic Plus seasonal mount. This is for getting 2000 rating in Season 2, the Crimson Shredder Tank. This is such a badass mount. The face on the front is menacing, giving me a Green Goblin vibe. I love the eyes and the furnace for a mouth. There's so many jagged edges on this that really makes it feel dangerous. The saw blade as the kneecap or shoulders, I don't know what that would be, look awesome. I wish there was a way that would just continuously spin though, because that would look so cool. Like imagine being in a battleground with all your saw blades spinning, just running towards the horde ready to add insult to injury. I love the use of the color red on this mount as well. It kind of looks like blood splattered on it while it was tearing through enemies. The mount special is also kind of weirdly cute. To me, it kind of looks like a cat getting ready to pounce, just with saw blades for hands. This is a terrific mount that honestly looks more like a PvP mount than it does something from PvE. Following closely behind at number 8 is the 3000 Mythic Plus Season 2 mount, the Enterprising Shredder Tank. It's the same model as before, but with different colors. I like this mount more than the Crimson Shredder because of how polished it looks. As much as I love the bloody, crazy battle mount that is the Crimson one, this one looks equally menacing and just super clean. I also prefer the red eyes on this one. In The War Within, we were introduced to Delves, and number 7 on this list is from the Delve Belt, or 15,000 undercoin, depending on when you got it. This is the OC-91 Chariot. I used the word regal when talking about the Voidwing at number 15, and I can't think of a better word for this mount. This really feels like the mount the King of Stormwind would ride in on to save the day. It kind of looks like an Overwatch character as well. I love the coloring on this, the regal gold trim with the blue gems throughout. The armor looks almost like concrete, and I really like the electrified cracks in it. The hands are nice because this mount is down for any kind of fight, whether it's hand-to-hand or blasting you away with the laser cannon it has for a left. I'm clearly a sucker for special effects on mounts this expansion, and the electricity flowing all around the mount is of course something I love. I do appreciate too how it's just the arms and legs and then it dissipates before it gets to the body. It makes it feel kind of like an anime supercharge up. The mount special is also great, a little chest bump and then popping lasers up into the sky. You know the universal sign for honk your horn that people do to trucks? That chest bump makes me feel like this mount is acknowledging someone doing that and blasting their things up to the sky. And as you look up into the sky as it blasts those lasers up there, you might find the 6th best mount from The War Within. Coming from some tedious grinding on the Siren Isle, we have Thrayir, Eyes of the Siren. It kind of looks like a baby Raven Lord, which is really cute. It has a beautiful dark blue-gray color with a lighter blue on the outside. And then the dark color is actually like a dark cloud and the lightning around it is like a thunderstorm, so it really just looks like I'm riding a Thunderbird. The gold armor really stands out given how dark the rest of the mount is. And I love the blue orbs on the shoulder pads, because combined with the glowing blue eyes, it almost has a peacock-like illusion of multiple eyes. This is just a beautiful mount to look at. And another thing that's beautiful to look at is your subscription list when I post a new video. You don't gotta go searching for it, you don't gotta wait for the algorithm to recommend it. If you subscribe to my channel, you just get it right away. So if you like this video or any of my others, make sure you subscribe. Because now we get to the meat and potatoes of this list. We've got the top 5. Starting us off here is number 5. Arguably one of the hardest mounts to get, if not the hardest in The War Within, Alunira, which comes from getting 10 crackling shards. Griffin mounts are amongst my favorite models in the game, and this is very similar to that. It has a beautiful white and gray color with this cool wind effect on it, which I'm just loving Blizzard implementing more of this expansion. That wind effect almost makes the mount look like a ghost. I love how the color white is used across this mount, like on the claws, back legs, and under the tail. I like the saddle as well, it's pretty basic, but it does basic well. And then when this mount flies, it's just so beautiful to look at. The combination of everything I just talked about with the white accents and the wind effect, it just is gorgeous. I love this unique take on a Griffin mount. Kind of like how for number 4, if you love the Mesozoic era or have kids that are going through their dinosaur phase, You might be familiar with this mount, for getting renowned 20 with the Galagio, Florendo the Furious. What an incredible and unique mount that you're just not going to mistake for any other. There's a molten inside that lights up the spine and creates a fireball waiting to be hurled out through the mouth. The armoring on this looks incredible and very fitting for a goblin or a gnome. It's just tarnished scrap put together to make a fearsome looking mount. The constantly spinning saw blade in the back is excellent, and it's one of those things that I thought would have made the shredder tanks from earlier even cooler. I also love that it's constantly creating a spark as it spins and hits the frame. The face is menacing with evil, orange, glowing eyes, metal sharp teeth, and a spiky mohawk to sell it some more. The controls on the saddle are a great touch, I assume fireball and saw blade attacks. Its little metallic T-Rex arms add a little bit of cuteness to this otherwise aggressive looking mount. And the mount special for this is also very funny, maybe one of my favorites. This big, bad, intimidating roar malfunctions before the mount seemingly reboots itself. Then that brings us to the top 3. The third best mount from the War Within comes from the Undermine Raider achievement, Junk Maestro's Magnetomech. It immediately reminds me of Mr. Freeze from Batman. The mad scientist coils in the back, coursing with electricity as they feed into this tank of flowing blue liquid that then looks to provide some sort of power to the plasma cannon hand and is so freaking cool. The way that all just comes together is great. The flowing blue liquid is also cool because it has both a shadowy, gaseous look to it, but also a viscous, liquid look. The mini coils on the shoulders add to the mount as well, giving me this Frankenstein kind of vibe. I like the little detail of the cut wires that give this mount a feeling of uncertainty, as if it could implode with too much activity. The blue liquid container on the front looks like a mana orb, but also looks like an eye at first glance, especially with the white glare on it that will obviously just move around as you move your camera. Like other similar mounts on this list, it has the option for melee with its right hand, which I think looks pretty sweet with a little bit of blue seeping out of the roots. Just like the OC91 Chariot, it has the same mount special, just of course with that blue plasma looking shot coming out of its rifle arm. And from here, there's just 2 more mounts. The second best mount in all of the War Within is the Season 3 Gladiator mount, the Astral Gladiator's Fellbat. This is one of those mounts where I normally dislike the model, but the mount design is so freaking cool that I cannot help but absolutely love this. I know it's a Fellbat, but this model reminds me a lot more of a gargoyle. It has a very creature-like face with sharp teeth ready to devour anyone. The eyes have a blue fire effect coming out of the armor that sheathes them, similar to the great-looking shoulders that look like a blue fire furnace sitting on the mount. I love the blue used across the entirety of this mount, and I think the armor plating's color looks fantastic with it. It kind of looks like aged brass. The helmet looks awesome, and it has a face all of its own, similar to that of an evil ant. The spiked furnace shoulders look great. I love the Wolverine-like claws that come out of the knuckles, coupled with the armoring around each finger and toe. But the absolute coolest part of the entire mount is absolutely the wings. It looks like one of those night sky projections you can set up in your bedroom. The universe itself is flowing through the wings of this mount, and it is by far one of the coolest effects I have ever seen on a mount ever. When the mount flies, it looks like Demon Hunter wings or the Warlock Tier 6 wings, but way cooler. I love the frayed ends of the wings with, again, that sharp armor on the points. It is just mesmerizing to look at. Which brings us to number 1, the best mount in all of the War Within, which at this point, based on number 2, you probably already know what it is. The best mount in this expansion came from Mythic Dimensions, the Unbound Star Eater. It is literally a galaxy in mount form. This is one of the best mounts in the entire game. It has a smooth, almost textureless mount model akin to a hairless cat, but way nicer. The face reminds me a little bit of Mewtwo from Pokemon, and it has these sharp blue beams for eyes that look like a combination of a laser blast that's ready to fire off, but also look like a very bright and wide galaxy that just exploded. The chest piece has the same blue beam with this swirly void behind it that gives it the effect of a black hole, which is only reinforced by the swirls of the galaxy around the mount and also on the mount, seemingly all being pulled into that center. This is such a cool effect. It looks like the mount is consuming the essence of a galaxy to power up the laser blast from its eyes and chest. Just like with the Gladiator mount, the Star Eater has that bed sky projection effect, not only on its wings, which look phenomenal, but across its entire body. It looks like a blizzard in a snow globe, doesn't it? There's one part of the mount in particular that stands out to me, and that's the back knees. This looks like the most concentrated part of the galaxy, and when that pink portion comes in, followed immediately by the blue-green that then fades away into nothing, is mesmerizing to look at. I know I've said the word galaxy like 100 times already, but just looking at the knees there really does look like we're traveling through space and seeing galaxies bend and warp as we travel past them. It's incredible. As I've noted on other mounts, I really love the blue outline on the feet and the end of the tail, especially with this model since those look like to be an aura of some sort that just, again, makes it feel like we're flying through space. I really like the way the saddle rises up with back supports and then flows down the spine with a bit of this armadillo kind of plating. This mount is perfect, and that's why for me, it's the best mount in all of the War Within. So what do you think of this list? Was it right? Was it wrong? Did I miss a mount? Or is there some mounts that I included that you just don't understand? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. I would love to know what your favorite mounts from this expansion were. If you like this video and you want to know my thoughts about the best mounts from every other era of WoW up through Dragonflight, click the video that's on screen now. Thanks for watching. I love you lots. Have a fantastic day. I'll see you again midnight.